New on Curiosity Stream. She was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
what if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes: Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Hey, Ola, it's Miles. Thank you guys for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast.
Have you heard our newest podcast? It's called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Download it today on radio.com. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every Tuesday at noon.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
By the way, we go. Welcome to Season 16, episode number 3,427. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, 3-10 Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And you are in the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, the Men's Room Shot of the Day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite TV Time with Tim.
Click, clack, drinking and drive.
All right, here we go. Pennsylvania woman decides to visit her probation officer with a whole lot of heroin in her purse. My roommate's ex-girlfriend attacked me with our cat and scratched up my face, Florida man tells the nurse. Man in Vietnam saves 400 million dong on plastic surgery to get a job. Woman in England is addicted to orgasm, saying she's got the corn and you bring the cob. And an Oklahoma church pays off almost $4 million in medical debt for local residents. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, a new survey gave us these results. 2/3 of U.S. citizens wish they lived closer to their family. Now, the key word here is closer, not close. You see, about 43% do not want family to live close enough to just pop by whenever they want. They just want them closer than they are now. And before you get all misty-eyed thinking about those deep family ties, here's a little perspective for you. The overwhelming majority of people that want family to live closer have little kids and are just looking for free babysitting. That's 76%. Yep. So sure, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and maybe that, along with COVID restrictions, has made people yearn to be closer to family. But let's not forget why we moved out in the first place. Now, family is family, but that doesn't mean they're awesome. In Virginia, a man was charged with attempted murder. Why? Well, he doused his brother with kerosene and then tried to set him on fire. See, I'd be okay not living close to him. Or the Pennsylvania father. He stole his own son's identity and then ruined his credit over the next years and put him $120,000 in debt. Again, not great family dynamics. But to be fair, family isn't always the primary motivation, bless you, Ted, to move out and move on. Maybe it's just where you lived. All right, we go to Michigan. Black family moves into a house. Their neighbor, well, he started flying the KKK flag. I'm sure there's no message to read there. Or the Alabama farmer whose neighbor stole his goat and painted it blue. That actually happened. Or maybe you had a terrible roommate, like the man in California who stole his roommate's $10 million lottery ticket. Frankly, I can't blame the guy. If you're my roommate, I would have stolen it too. But look, it could be family, neighbors, roommates, your hometown. We want you to answer today's men's room fill-in-the-blank style question. I am very happy not to live with or near someone anymore because of the time they did blank.
Be part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Bro, gnarly. What's up, Taylor? Dude, that nerd in his electric hybrid totally blew the light while texting his yuppie friends.
That's so bogus, bro. Are you hurt?
Yeah, like I can't move my hips, bro. I think I broke my pelvis, man.
Dude, no way.
Way.
Taylor, you need to drop a dime and talk with the lawyers at the Advocates Law Firm.
No way, can't afford that, bro.
Your crotch is broken, man, and they don't earn any money unless they win your case.
Dude, no way.
You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Over Charles and away we go. Welcome to season 16, episode number 3,427. What a large and in charge program we have for you today.
Both of those.
Guaranteed future repeat. The exciting return of Who Sucks Less. TV bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. Mm-hmm. All of them suck to some level, but it's up to us to determine out of the 3 stories which one sucks the least. How brutal are the stories that you are bringing us today?
They're actually kind of brutal, but in a non-brutal way. I think that's the best way to phrase it. We'll just say it is an international tour of stickiness.
An international tour of stickiness.
Yeah, if that doesn't get them to listen, I don't know what will.
On Who Sucks Less. Sounds like good times. Today we're going to do a little men's room fill-in-the-blank question here. Talk about friends, neighbors, families, and all of the above. And hopefully we're getting maybe to the point where there's a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel as far as us being able to travel and everything else. Steve, I know your folks live here. You do have some family in Houston and on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. Seems like the family from Houston comes here more than you go there.
Yeah, I don't know why that is.
Well, probably to see the children that are in the home. Your parents, they live in the area.
Yes, they do. They're in West Seattle.
And they're here for the grandchildren as well.
All I have to do is that I provided sperm.
Sure.
That's legit. They are not here for me. They are here for the children.
Now, your brother, he's
on the East Coast.
He's on the East Coast.
He's not a rocket scientist, but yes, he's right outside of D.C.
But he travels a lot. Yes. And more than likely, he will probably be here more so than you will be there.
Yes.
Just based on geography. Ted, your folks are in D.C. I know you got friends all over the United States, but for the most part, you're 3,000 miles away from your family.
Correct. Yeah, most of my family's in the D.C., Baltimore.
Brother, sister, mom, cousins up in Massachusetts. You probably used to see maybe, once a year, twice a year?
We'd probably see those Smiths like once a year.
Used to do a tailgating tour, though, man, where you'd see like a cousin or two, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mike, I know most of your family is here in Washington State, so you're relatively close. I've got a close uncle in Florida. My dad is in Florida. My mom is in West Virginia. My brother and my sister are in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Most of the time they'll come out here, depending on the length of time they'll stay. There have been times where, trust me,
you don't want to go to West Virginia or Pennsylvania. No. I know your family's there.
Man, I don't mind going to Pittsburgh.
People don't mind coming to Seattle. Because even if they hate you as a family member, Seattle's got things to do. There are things to see. Yeah. During the summer when it's going, people don't mind coming. They'll always complain how long it took to get here. It's like, that's why I like to live here.
But for the most part,
you don't want to go to West Virginia or Pennsylvania.
And not only that, but when they come here, in my mind, they stay too long.
Yes.
So I'm just going to be honest. Back in the days of travel, it seemed like when my family came out, it was never too short of a trip. It was never too short. Why are you only staying here for 3 days?
But to be fair,
it was always like I'm here for
perspective.
8.
It's just perspective. See, when family lives together, right? So, Mike, most of your family lives here. Almost all of my mom's family lives between, Washington, D.C. and Newport News, Virginia, right? Not a very big, but they're all there. So I feel like they see each other all the time kind of anyway. But now that we're a wonderful, delicious distance away from all of their drama,
right?
When they come to see, even if they're here for 3 days, it seems like 10 because we're not used to interacting with the crap anymore. Yep. That's one. And then also, anytime you have to travel a farther distance, you feel it is your right to stay longer. When I lived in Rochester and we had to visit my one aunt in Los Angeles, right, that was as far as you could basically travel in the United States. We always stayed there for like a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you drove.
Right.
That's a big difference in flying.
But again,
you're driving
she
for
didn't
days.
have to deal with family all the time. But when we showed up, so if you live far away, you're the person who might get visited the least, but when they visit you, they stay the longest.
Sure. Now, when I go back and see my mom, she lives with my grandmother, her mother, 90-some years old. But typically, my brother or my sister will drive down, which is about a 4 or 5 hour drive, to join for Thanksgiving, to see me, to see their mom, the whole deal, right?
They're there for Thanksgiving. They're not there to see you. They're just there for Thanksgiving.
But typically, they won't go a lot of years. But if I'm there, they'll make it a point to go, just because they know I'm not going to go see them. You know what I mean? Not maybe I'll do it another time.
You ever want to mess with them?
Different trip.
Tell them you're coming in, then not show up, but now they're stuck there.
But my sister and my grandmother, they fight from the moment that my sister walks in the door until the time that she leaves.
Has it always been that way?
And I always forget about it. And then I get there and I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be 2.5, 3 days of this crap. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I have to admit, through all of that, I miss my family. Like, I'm now at the point where I miss seeing my brother, I miss seeing my nieces, and my sister, and my stepfather, and my dad.
What about your sister and your grandmother together?
No, but I do miss them.
When you go back, if they said they can go back right now, but it's just going to be you, your sister, and your grandmother.
No, I know well enough. I know well enough. It would not be a pleasant experience. It's just not. It sucks. It's terrible. But we do have this survey, and a new survey found that 43% of Americans would not want their family to live close enough to just pop in whenever they want.
I think that's fair.
It's a weird thing, though, if you do have that situation, because there is no doorbell. There is no knock on the door. It seems like people who live in those areas, it doesn't matter if you are in a suburb, if you're on a farm, if you live in a city, the door seems to always be open.
They might be home even when you're out. Like, you've come home and, like, your aunt is sitting in your kitchen. Like, the hell are you doing?
I don't know what world you live in, but in the world I live in, when I walk in the door and close it, I lock the door.
Right.
You know? I mean, but it just doesn't seem like that. When I grew up and family was around, everybody's just in and out. Okay. I'd come downstairs and, my grandfather would be sitting at the table. I'm like, what the hell are you doing here?
Right.
It's like, I just stopped to get some lunch. I'm doing some electrical work from a buddy down the road.
That's the problem with family.
Yeah. Well,
because they just show up because they're close, right? And look, again, this is not a question of whether or not you love your family, but there's a reason I moved out of the house. Right. There's a reason I had a problem moving 3,000 miles away.
Believe it or not,
good.
43% is higher.
I could stop by my aunt and uncle, like Aunt Barbara and Tim's house right now, and they'd be like, "Oh, come on in."
Wouldn't give the second thought.
Wouldn't have to make a call.
No. Right? They'd start cooking food.
Well, that's actually 6% higher.
Actually, you know what's sad? Now that you said that out loud, I'm a horrible person. All right, because here I am, and I'm very happy to not live around a ton of family. I truly, deeply, passionately am. But if I went to any of their houses, like you said, Ted, right now, just knocked on the door, go to Houston, right, out of the blue. I don't even know if their power's back. They would hook me up so quick.
Yes, but the difference is...
But I'm not so nice that even if they call me 3 months out to say, I'm going to be in Seattle, I can plan for it, and we're only going to be there for 36 hours because we're going to take a cruise. I'm grumpy about it until they get there.
Yeah, not only that,
damn it.
If they
but
showed
if I
up,
just showed up, man, I'm getting hooked up.
Yes.
Why am I the worst member of my family?
If they showed up and unannounced,
I'd be pissed.
You'd open the door and go, what in the F are you doing here?
I mean, I couldn't turn them away.
That's what you're thinking.
Right.
I'm not saying you're saying that.
But I would not hide how I feel. I might not use the words to be like,
right.
Do you need a place to stay? That's not even, hey, how are you? Mm-hmm. Just... My aunt and uncle have shown up on my doorstep. I did not know they're coming. They have not informed my parents. My first question, do you need a place to stay? Because I'm trying to gauge my reaction out. The answer is, we're staying here. Again, I'm going to let you because you're my family, but deep down, I hate you right now.
Sure. You could have seen a friend 3 days ago, spend some time together. He could come 3 days later, knock on your door unannounced. Hey, man, I was just in the neighborhood. You want to get a beer? Like, yeah, sure, man, absolutely.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, hey, man, here, I'll get a cold one. You want to walk down the bar? Do you want to get one here? What do you want to do?
I think it depends on the family member. But, aunt and uncle, I had no issue. But there's a couple people in my family, I'd be like, what are you doing here?
No, it's not that. It's not that. Right. There are certain family members who be like, you need to leave, but even my favorite outside of the family, my aunt, right? Love this woman to death. She loves me. Even if she showed up right now, and listen, I love this woman. Mm-hmm. We could probably coexist in the same home together, right? We get along that well. Still be like, hey, man, do you need a place to stay? I'm going through this thing because I'm still not happy you're there unannounced. Well,
I would be. I'd be a little embarrassed and be like, oh, sorry, Aunt Barbara, I got to clean up. But I'd be like, or you could help me, Uncle Tim. Let's go get beers.
You'd be shocked.
Damn.
Well, you'd be shocked. The closer you get to me as far as being related to me, the more that I am less likely to stay at your place. So if I go to my mom's, I'm in a hotel room.
Oh, sure.
I can't take it. I've got to get. I've got to get out of there.
This is the family you miss.
Yes.
But if you're going to visit, like now, though.
Oh yeah.
Even though you miss them, not hanging out with grandma and sister. No. And if you do go visit mom, I'm staying at a hotel.
Sure. I can stay with my sister in Pittsburgh because I can smoke weed at her house.
That's the defining.
And she's cool with it. You know what I'm saying? And she's always got the food's pretty well stocked up. You know what I mean? She's got a nice place. I like her dog. But these are all reasons why I'll never stay with my brother. And my brother has
what does it have to do with your sister, though? So far, she is not trying
to... We get along fine.
It just happens you can smoke weed there.
My sister and I are just very kind of more laid back.
Yeah, sure.
So, like, in my brother's house, there's kids running around every place. It's zany. You know what I mean? Like, I've done...
Yeah, but I got kids.
I know, it's zany. It's just zany. You know what I mean? Like, you never can have control of the television. You're always watching some crappy kid show. You know, I mean, I've lived that. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, I watch sports. It's the weekend. Come on, you know?
You know, that's the truth. I'm not looking to go back to those days. Like we're past Paw Patrol and Dora.
I'm dead serious. And
I'm not watching it with your kid.
That's where they are. So it's not that I don't love them and care about them, and I will go over and spend all day there. I'm just not sleeping there.
This is the family you miss.
Yes, very much, very much,
very much.
I know. Like I always, it's easier now as my aunt and uncle. Jesus, my niece and nephew are teenagers.
Sure.
So it's not nearly the same thing. But even when they were little, now granted, I haven't raised children, so it's not. I'm like, oh, this is fun. But it was always a big deal to get breakfast. So that's how I would always stay there.
Sure.
That was their main thing. You know what I mean?
Whereas you select where you stay. I get breakfast. So you
No. They wanted to go to breakfast. So Miles is right. I could stay at my sister's and smoke weed, stay up all night. Sure. But like I would stay with my brother, and you're going to watch some shows you probably don't want to watch. But the kids were always, that was like the thing. We got breakfast together.
Okay.
So I never wanted to miss that.
Whatever that is. You know what I mean? Whatever it is.
About the food or the company.
That was just, I mean, look, they grew up. I lived here. So, like, you got to spend as much time as you can so they freaking know you.
Sure.
Well, that's awkward when you go back and they're like, who is this guy?
Who is this guy?
I'm related to you. I look like your dad.
Oh, God.
Right. Well, according to the survey, 2/3 of us wish we lived closer to our family. Just not too close.
Yeah.
So here are more of the stats on this.
Like the Midwest.
Mm-hmm. Sure. That's a shorter flight.
Yes.
30% of us have thought about moving closer to family in the past year.
No.
The same survey 2 years ago found that siblings are the family member that we would most want to live close to.
No.
So your brother and your sister. And I guess more so, to me, it's just where they live. So it's not
I don't think either of us would care. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you can live closer if you want, bro. We don't care.
I prefer, especially after last year, to live closer to my mom just because she's getting up in age.
Yeah, sure. I would like to, too.
But see, I feel different,
but it's where she chooses to live.
It's the guilt thing with that.
Right. Men, believe it or not, this is going to be a shocker to a lot of you. Men are more likely to want some buffer between their parents or in-laws.
Yes.
66% of men and 56% of women want to at least be a decent drive from their parents or their in-laws.
A decent
drive.
What qualifies as 90 minutes?
Decent drive.
Is that decent?
No, decent drive, I think, is about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah, 90 minutes.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Spending it decent. Because it's less likely that they'll, quote-unquote,
pop by.
Because that's
45 minutes an hour. I mean, look, man. I mean, sometimes it takes that long to get to Tacoma from downtown Seattle. That's not really a big deal. So, I mean, like, if I'm in the area, I just might happen to be close. I can pop in, right?
I think that's people that don't live there, though. Because, like, in the area where my family lives, like, a lot of them live about 90 minutes from each other. And it's a pain in the butt.
Well, it's a pain in the butt if you're there and you have to visit, but not to them when they live there because it's a perfect distance away.
No. It's a pain in the butt for them.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it seems easy to say, hey, I'd go do that. Like, I'd visit them all the time if I lived 90 minutes away.
Wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. I'd wake up on a Saturday morning and be like, do I want to drive 90 minutes right now?
But that's why 90 minutes is a good distance, because in case of an emergency, it's just 90 minutes.
I mean, Christ, I love Mike. He's a good friend. He moved to Sumner, and I was like, I'll see you at work.
I'm out. You need a babysitter? 76% of people with young kids wish their family lived closer because of that one thing, because you need a babysitter.
Comes in handy.
Also, 61% say it's been very difficult not to see family during the COVID. And over 60% of us have canceled a trip to see family since the pandemic hit. So you had plans on seeing your folks, but that went south, obviously.
Dang.
Our question, I'm very happy not to live with or near someone anymore because of the time they did blank. 206-421-ROCK.
New on Curiosity Stream, she was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
what if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes, Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Well, great balls of fire, Bubba.
What happened, Buford?
That crazy son of a Sal blew right through that four-way stop on Main Street and plowed into my cowboy Cadillac.
Your what?
My pickup truck. And I'm pretty sure my leg is broken, Ted.
Oh, quit your bitching, Buford, and talk with those side busters at the Advocates Law Firm. When I got busted up last month, well, shoot, they made sure those snakes at the insurance company played fair.
Boy, howdy. Even that creepy so-and-so Kyle earned his keep.
So if you get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
You're in the men's room. 99.9 KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle.
Our question, I'm very happy not to live with or near someone anymore because of the time they did blank. 206-421-ROCK.
And people are commenting in the spirit of things. One says, my mother, when I was 53, and my cousin Dane was 64, my mother put a full roll of paper towels on the stove burner.
Oh, stove boner. Oh, baby.
There's nothing Freudian about that at all. I'm sure of it. The stove burner. Soak the roll with olive oil. Turn the burner on high. Dane and I, we were asleep when she did this. The smoke detector goes off, and we find her 25 feet away laughing. My mother was 86.
Okay.
That's terrifying. Yeah. Guess she's trying to kill him. Someone else says, let's see. Hey, guys, I have SE parents who demand I knock on the door when we go. And if I don't give them at least a week's notice, they bitch me, they bitch my wife, and they bitch my kids out. Me and my dad almost came to blows last time I went.
Damn. They must be doing something freaky in there.
Someone else, I have the best setup for family. Just hits on something we were saying the other day, the perfect distance. I live 90 minutes away from everyone. I can go over when I want, but they don't just stop by. My wife wants to move closer to my folks and sister. I'm fighting, but I think I'm screwed. And then here's a real pick-me-up. Oh, man, where'd he go? Okay. We moved to Auburn, partially to be closer to her parents. They're 15 minutes away. It's generally terrible.
Yeah. Well, didn't you tell me, because we were talking about your relatives in Houston the other day, and, you know, Houston is a huge city. As far as
there's a lot of people and geographically,
it's not small town USA. We're talking about people living close to each other, not living close to each other. And you were talking about your aunt, and you said that one of your cousins,
my cousin Sam,
he decided he's going to buy a house.
Dude, this is a grown-ass man. It's a grown-ass...
He said he's in his 50s, right?
He's in his 40s.
Okay, 40s.
He's in his 40s. He's a grown-ass married man with 3 kids. I believe it's 3, might be 4. Might even be more. I don't know. Dude's just having sex, right? But he's going to buy a house. Now, understand, in the city of Houston, a neighborhood, when they call it a neighborhood, it's like 8 times bigger than anything you normally picture.
Is it like L.A.?
It's like L.A., and it's a driving city. So when you say neighborhood, I mean, it's all about driving. It's not Queen Anne. It's not, right, you don't walk places. Anyway, he's going to buy a house. He buys a house in whatever neighborhood he decided he liked, and they're nice houses. And I said, man, I'm having a conversation with him last time I saw him, and I said, well, isn't it weird, though, because you bought a house, and you knew that your Aunt Fran, who we love, lives in this neighborhood. And he goes, yeah, but man, these are Houston neighborhoods. Again, it's the size of your average city. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The house he got is directly across the street from my friend. It is directly across the street. But again, now he lives in Houston, and the Houston clique is very tight. So I'm like, well, how is it? He's like, it's terrible, man.
Well, you said
He's
that.
like,
So what you have to understand is, this guy's mom is Aunt Fran's sister,
right? And
so
they
are
all the
tight,
time.
and they talk constantly.
And so he said he will be home. He is entertaining his children and his wife, just doing regular domestic crap. And there's a knock on his door, and he opens the door, and it's Aunt Fran. But Aunt Fran is holding her phone because she had been talking with his mom, and now wanted to pass the phone over to him because his mom wanted to tell him something.
Because they're across the street.
Because they're across the street.
Like
he said his life has become
he
that.
He can't have beers like with his friends out in the front yard and sit on the porch and hang out and have people in the garage or whatever because Aunt Fran will call his mom. His mom's calling in, what are you doing drinking beer in the front yard?
It's not exactly like that. It's more, the way that went down was he likes to drink beer in the front yard with his buddies late into the evening, right? And the thing is, as our Aunt Fran is talking to his mom, and they talk all the time, all day. Just, oh no, Sam's doing fine. He's outside now just drinking beer with his buddies. Fran doesn't care, but his mom cares. So that becomes...
He's a grown-ass man.
Right,
he's got a
grown-ass
family.
man.
He's got kids. He's
But
got his
again,
own house.
here comes your aunt walking across the street holding the phone because your mom's on the phone to hand you the phone while you're drinking beer with your buddies because your mom that you don't live with is going to tell you, I don't think it's a good idea for you to drink beer with your buddies. That is why I don't let you go to Houston much, man. And like I said, when you were there, it's like they verbally do the ticker you'd find on the bottom of C-SPAN, but it's everything you're doing. Oh, look at baby boy, you're going to go to the bathroom. I bet you're going to be able to...
So it's a running commentary?
But you're like 5 feet away. Like, you could talk to me, but they just talk about you to each other while you're there. Oh, look at baby Neff, you going to grab more of that potato salad. I told you he liked that, yeah. Oh, that boy's always... Remember that time he pooped a potato? You're just like, Jesus Christ, man. But that's the entire time you're there. So I love them, and they're a lot of fun to be around in that sense. But you can only take... They live like that. I mean, they live like that, man. Everybody knows... everything. And it's just weird to me, man. Like I said, they're great. They love me. I love them back. I can't live like that. But when they come to visit, it's still the same thing. Oh, baby boy don't even need a sweat out here. Oh, he lives in Seattle now. He can take 60 degrees. Yeah, look at him. Like, Jesus Christ, guys. I'm taking the dog out for a walk, right?
The only thing I hear from my...
everything is worth commenting.
The only thing I hear from my family about my clothes is, do you own anything with any color?
Oh, no.
You dress like truth. You dress like sadness.
My cousin Patrick came out here the first time, and he goes, I wore, like, he wore a golf shirt that had some pink in it.
Right.
And he goes, I thought I committed a hate crime. He was like, people were looking at me like I was insane. And we're sitting there on like a corner. I was probably smoking weed. And I'm like looking around like, you're right, man. Everybody's in real dark colors. I mean, I don't even think about it, but I'm in dark colors.
I am very happy not to live with or near someone anymore because of the time they did blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Maggie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
Oh, hola. My mother once boiled a buffalo head in a giant 40-gallon cauldron because she wanted the skull for like a pretend Indian ceremony.
How did this go down exactly? I mean, did you live out in the cut where this wouldn't be tremendously unusual?
Middle of nowhere, Minnesota.
And were the bison native to the area, or was this like a farmed animal that, you would buy bison, like ground bison?
How did you get the head is what we want to know.
That's what I want to know.
There was a farmer who would go bison hunting nearby. My mom bought the pelt for a drum. The head just came with it, and she was like a wannabe Indian. She had a sweat lodge. She wanted it because it was very ceremonial. Like, they could pray to it.
I guess I didn't realize, as close as Minnesota probably is to North Dakota and South Dakota, there's probably not too far away bison in the area.
I've seen them around.
That never would have crossed my mind.
How old were you when this went down?
I was 13, and my sister was 17, and she brought friends home that day for the first time to meet my parents. And never brought friends over again.
So I guess now that you've got this buffalo head, or bison head, sorry, Ted. What did your mom go through with her witchcraft or whatever she was doing there?
She she did. The boiling for 2 days didn't work out, so she ended up hanging it in a tree so that the birds could pick at it, do it a little more natural.
We call that outsourcing.
So you have no
subcontracting to the local wildlife.
What did the HOA say about this?
Oh, we didn't talk to them. What happens on the farm stays on the farm.
Gotcha.
So, how long does this process take? I mean, let me ask you another question. Were there any red flags that your mom might just surprise you with something like this beforehand, or was this just full-blown, you could not believe what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. She was always pulling over to pick up roadkill because, if she saw a turtle on the side of the road, she would say, oh, I could make a rattle out of that for, Indian powwows. And she would also pick up dead birds, owls or hawks or eagles, because she wanted the wings for a fan.
All right, let me ask you, your mom Native American?
No.
No chance.
Okay. No chance. I was just wondering, is this for ceremonial stuff? Or?
Yeah, I was like, this is not native. Like, ooh, roadkill, that's how we do it. It's like that.
She would go, yeah, I know. She would go to the South Dakota, the Rosebud Reservation, and they would do big ceremonies, weekends, sun dances, powwows,
All right. Now,
lodges.
What about your mom now? Is your mom still with us?
She is. I moved out to Seattle, and she followed to Spokane. She ended up leaving my dad for a woman, and they live together now, and they're married and are very happy.
That's wonderful.
Is she still on her native thing, man? I mean, is she still grabbing roadkill and making rattles out of
Does she wear the jewelry with the blue rock in it?
What about a rock?
You know the blue stone jewelry?
Yes. Yeah, turquoise.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, well, that's more like Arizona area, but... Okay. She is still doing her weird stuff. She's an herbalist, so she makes all her herbs from the ground and using, medicinal things from the Indian.
Does she smoke weed?
Textbook. No, she sounds like she's always on weed.
She does to me like that'd be part of the culture, wouldn't it?
So what do you...
Yeah, but weed, you gotta give it, I know some people that are very into that stuff and are herbalists. They don't smoke weed. It's a different...
Right, it's a different...
It's not ceremonial or anything?
Well, no, it can be, but we smoke weed, it's like we like it, but it should, in their mind, it should be ceremonial. It's like a master plant, this and that.
Okay. You can drink red wine at the Catholic Church or you can be a drunk, right? So sometimes it's ceremonial. I think the way we consume it is different.
They don't give you enough, you know what I mean?
So what do you do? How much of that has rubbed off on you?
Oh, not a whole lot. She grew up diehard Catholic family, so... I am more in the spiritual realm, I guess. I like the universe versus a god or a whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Well, that's fascinating.
I make my own herbs sometimes. I smoke my own grass, that's for sure.
Does she?
There's a lot of ex-Catholics like us.
Does she stop by every once in a while? Is she close enough to pop in?
Yeah, I see her a couple times a year. Love her. She's great.
Well, a couple times a year is great.
Yeah, but you know when that's coming. A couple times a year, you're like,
that's easy. Yeah. It's called a holiday or something.
Yeah, well, it's like a 6-hour drive, so.
Oh, okay. Well, still, you know what I mean. That's a good distance.
6. Yeah, we either had.
I mean, you can be in Eugene, Oregon, in 6 hours.
We used to have either a 4-hour drive for the family in Virginia. It was closer than Houston or California, but the 4-hour drive we could tolerate. So if we're going to visit the aunt, the one whom I love, she lived in D.C., we could deal for her as children being stuck in the back of a 1973 Pontiac Grand Am, which was brown, by the way, so it looked like a piece of S going down the road.
That was a popular color.
We could deal. It
was either that or olive green.
We had 3 cars at one time. All of them were brown. Metallica. My brother described our garage as looking like an unflushed toilet. It just looked like piles of but every once in a while we had to do the 8-hour drive, and that was unbearable. To me as a kid, so 6 hours, nah. If I'm a kid, nah. You got to be 4 hours or closer.
Well, the problem with that, anytime you get a drive over 4 hours, there's this weird protocol for a man. So if it's a family drive, and if you're a child, the last thing you want to do is get up in the morning. But if it's over a certain amount of time, that's the time that dad says, we're all going to get up at 4 o'clock. Go to bed early.
We're on the road at 4:45.
Yeah, you better get up and get something to eat because I ain't stopping until after 9 o'clock.
No father will ever stop unless he's threatening to pull over.
He's already got the gas. He's already got the car tuned up.
I was taking care of yesterday.
It's vacuumed.
That was done yesterday. The windshield wipers have been changed.
Your bag is right by the door.
Right.
Basically, you're just going to roll out in your pajamas, take your pillow with you. You're going to get in the goddamn back of the car, and you're going to not wake up until about 9:30, which means you're going to get in the car. You can't fall asleep, and you're up until they get there at 7 p.m. at night after a 13-hour drive.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It sucks. Thank God for aircraft. I'm very happy not to live with or near someone because of the time they did blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Orpheus. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
Yeah, so I'm glad to not live with my parents. Quick backstory. I left home when I was about 14, 15. So because they were crazy on drugs and stuff. Then when I was almost 18, I had rented a house, and I suddenly got a bill for like several $1,000s from a telephone company. Turns out they opened up a house phone line in my name when I was underage.
Your parents did?
My parents did.
Damn, that's pretty insane.
How much was it? Do you remember?
I can't remember exactly. I want to say it was either $1,000 or $2,000.
Yeah, but at that time, you might as well give me a bill for like $10 million.
There's no possibility I can pay this. Still, even though you're a minor and you're their child, they still don't have the authority to use your name and rack up.
That's why it's fraud,
right? Exactly. I mean,
yeah.
So, what did you end up having to do about it?
So we had just started, they had just started getting clean and kind of trying to get back in my good graces. So I called them up and kind of made a scene. Cussed them out a little bit and was like, you are covering this bill. Like, I just got into housing after like several years being homeless. Like, you were fixing this. And they fixed it.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's
kind of great parents.
It's kind of weird to be the adult in that situation, isn't it?
Yeah. I've had to be the adult since I was...
when you're a kid, man, you look up to your parents, you just think they can do no wrong, and then there comes a point in time where you're like, oh, God, they're just as dumb as everybody else. How did I survive? Exactly.
I mean...
Do you still talk to your parents now?
Yeah, they're clean now. They kind of turned their lives around, so we're back on good terms.
Okay. All right, good.
Similar, but not nearly as expensive as this story. Father who filed for bankruptcy in 2015 allegedly stole his own son's identity. And since then, over the past 6 years, he has absolutely ruined his son's credit after spending approximately $120,000. Michael Trilio Sr. of Throop, Pennsylvania, was arraigned on Friday after he turned himself in. He's been charged with 18 felonies, including theft and fraud. He was caught after his 22-year-old son, Michael, saw that he had a terrible credit rating, and it was someone who has access to his Social Security information and who racked up the credit. He first noticed something was wrong regarding his finances after being denied a loan on his first car. He was initially hesitant to expose his father to the police, and court papers indicated that the father had promised to clear some or all of the $120,000 debt, but then he failed to do so. So at that point, their family contacted the police. Junior could be held responsible for his father's actions if he does not correct his alleged misdoings. Father's due in court next week and has been released without having to post any bail.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I guess
steal $120,000, you don't spend a night in jail? I mean, what if it's still, there's 18 felonies. What if you robbed a bank? That's a felony. You'd be in jail, right?
Maybe you could try that. Just like, hey, listen, there's a dude who got up a lot more money than me. I only committed one felony. Right. I robbed a bank, sure, but if we could dial it down a bit.
I just left a note, I didn't have a weapon, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Well, they probably didn't trust the guy's bail.
Yeah, that's a good point.
His son will probably end up doing it again. Do you have any incarcerated family members that you know of?
Do I have
I'm just thinking about this guy. Like, this is your dad's going to jail. It's one thing to say my dad had been in jail before but it's another thing, you know.
I mean, I've had plenty of relatives who spent time in jail.
Not jail.
Yeah,
I'm saying prison. Like prison, man. Like, I've been to jail, but I have a cousin who's been to prison, and he's been to prison many more times than I've been to jail.
Yeah.
That dude.
I don't think anybody in my family. My stepfather's side of the family, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. The answer is yes.
A lot of them, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah, prison time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone, Ted?
I mean, sadly...
The Smiths just like to party and not go to prison?
Yeah, I mean, well, sadly for me, but I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that's ever been arrested.
Really?
Well, my other cousin...
there you go.
No, they got in fights, but...
That was a different era. You didn't go to jail for that. You didn't,
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I mean, I know this much. My dad, later we found out, he always said he got drafted to Vietnam, but he joined because he thought he knocked somebody up.
Oh, damn.
So he was just trying to escape?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Does he know if he knocked
I guess she wasn't pregnant, but at that point, you're talking.
You joined the war and she wasn't
to
pregnant.
just get away from someone because he thought
right,
they were
but it's
pregnant.
1969. You signed those papers. You're going to Vietnam.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, be a dad or go to Vietnam.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I had an option.
Nope, not that man. Like,
I'm just saying.
Well, and I think I'm hoping part of it too was he was trying to get some money because he was in college at the time.
Maybe that was the case.
Yeah,
that's the better story.
That's the better story.
Hey, look, man, I thought my father, because I grew up knowing that he had been in the Navy, and he was pretty military with certain things around the house, the way you cleaned and all this. So I always assumed, like, this is a guy that joined the Navy because he wanted to join the Navy. And it wasn't until like 10 years ago, man. I'm a grown man at this point. My mother goes, you want to tell your son why you joined the Navy? And so now my head is already like, wait, what? So he was involved in this as I understand it, a long-ass car chase through the inner city of Houston. Like the cops are chasing him. I can't remember.
In a 73 Pontiac?
No, this is years and years and years. I think he had a little sports car. Either way, he outdrove the cop. As he perceives it, he says, man, they just couldn't drive as well as me. I'm like, well, also they were trying to pull you over. But I digress. Anyway, they arrest him for whatever. I think
eluding or something.
Well, you can get him on that. The problem was the initial reason they went after him, I think, was flawed. But you still tried to elude police. So it's one of those delicate balancing act. Anyway, you can spend however much time in prison or you can join the military. So he picked the Navy, and that's why he was in the Navy. And I'm just looking at him like, man, you know, I grew up looking at you like, Navy guy.
I wonder what he said to the cop. That'd be the best part of the story.
I've seen him get pulled over once.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think the entire
story. He laid down like an Arnold type line on him. You know what I mean? Just like a one-liner.
The one time I saw my father interact with the cop, gets pulled over for speeding. Anyway, cop walks up. You're doing 47 and a 25. So my father's response, and I quote, so? He got that ticket. Had to go back to like driving school or whatever, like 8 more. Oh, yeah.
I am very happy not to live with or near someone anymore because of the time they did blank. 206-421-ROCK.